Alright, this is going to be a two-part video. In the first part, I want to talk about what I think NPCs are from an astrological point of view. And then the second part, we're going to do a September update on where the planets are, what energies they will be emitting, and what we need to look out for. What is on the horizon? You have to excuse me, I've been sleeping under an air conditioner, and I haven't had air conditioner all summer. I've been under a fan, and it's actually giving me a runny nose. I'm not used to it. Okay, NPCs. I got to thinking about it, and I spent a long time thinking about it. And to me, my brain kept going back to Kill Bill and Oren Ishii in Japan. And she had to fight the crazy 88 before she could fight Oren. Well, when you look at the Viper Squad, whatever they were, there were 12 of them all together. They tell you the story of who was, who is, and who will be. And that's the Zodiac. They were the Zodiac. And then you had the 88. And in astrology, you have the Zodiac, the 12 constellations, and you have 44 constellations above the Zodiac and 44 constellations below the Zodiac. And 44, and 12 make 100. And then you have the Earth. From astrology perspective, the Earth, everything is geocentric. The Earth is in the middle. So the Earth and the Sun are a constellation of itself. They're the 101st constellation. So I've always said we're in school. This is Life 101. This is your freshman year in the College of Life. That's what we're doing here. And to me, the crazy 88 are the NPCs. Just like in Kill Bill, they all wore masks. They had no identity. And we notice today that the ones who are wearing masks are the NPCs. They just do exactly what they're told. And I think that's what we're dealing with here, is the 44 constellations above and the 44 constellations below. So that gives you a percentage of 88 people out of 100 or 101 are NPCs. And that's a pretty staggering number. That's a pretty staggering number to where 88 out of 100 people are freaking NPC. But I can see it. I actually can. Are only the souls that are born through the constellations part of a soul group, part of a sun solar group. I wish I could do more charts on NPCs, but I have to say, my channel attracts a particular kind of people, and that really clearly shows up in the chart. I don't think an NPC would be coming to my channel questioning things and ask me to do their chart. Just not going to happen. I just have to pick random numbers out of a hat and do it that way. Random locations, random times, random dates. And take a look. Excuse me, I actually need to pause here. You know, when we go back and we look at history and what's been left for us from so-called history, we're actually told the stories of the upper constellations. A lot of the Greek tales, they tell us the story of Arcturus. We're told the story of the bear. We're told the story of Capella. We're told the story of Perseus and Medusa, Andromeda, Pegasus, all these upper houses. We're told those. So it appears that the sun is spiraling down. The zodiac clearly, Altair, all of these, Serpentarius, Hercules, all these stories, they're above the zodiac. And now we're doing the zodiac. But when we start looking into the future with the information that we have now, we can come from the age of Taurus, where the Pleiades was called the flock. And then the flock in the next age, it dropped way down here below the zodiac into the head of Leviathan. It's like the whole earth just went boop, and the sheep are now down here. The Vatican is now down here, and this beast that comes up out of the sea. And even in the next age, the flock moves from the head of the beast, gets its wings, and now the flock becomes a flock of seagulls instead of a flock of sheep or a flock of ram or fishes, a school of fish. We get our wings and we become birds in the next age. So it appears that we are spiraling down through the thing. And you'll see that we have the upside down Native American here. We have the peacock down here. They're using all of these symbols now. We use, let's get over here to Gemini because these are prominent. We use the unicorn and the two dogs. Everything is about follow the white rabbit, lupus. Everything is below. We are spiraling down in this wheel, in this bubble, whatever it is. Even if it's, people argue with me, oh, this is not real. There is no space. I don't care. I don't care what you call it. I don't care if they're stars, if they're holes that are in the blanket of the sky. I don't care what it is. These stars were mapped thousands and thousands of years ago by every culture around the world. And they are still today exactly where they were thousands and thousands of years ago. This whole place is in a constant state of flux, a constant state of change. But these stars remain the same. It is their effect on us that changes. Because to me, the zodiac is an alchemical magic circle of nature. And we are becoming. This is Alchemy 101. Alchemy for the soul. And to have alchemy for the soul, you must have it within the zodiac. And I think that's the NPCs don't have that. I think there's something going on with the majority of the population to where they get like a blank soul or something, a blind soul, an unborn soul into their body. The body must have a soul to animate. So there's something living in there, not sure what it is other than these other energies above and below. And I'm going to leave that at that, other than I will say that I do remember coming into the body. And I've said this my whole life. Since the first time anybody asked me about it in the first grade, I told them. And my story will not deviate one bit, because it's truth, is that I remember going into the sun. I remember being inside of the sun, and it's dark in there. And I came out of the sun on a beam of light, just like frickin' fiber optic data. And I downloaded into this body through the right eye. And I landed in the back left part of my brain. And I was in shock, because I had come from a soul group. I had never been alone or singular in existence. And it was very devastating. And then the sun began communicating with me, telling me about my body, how to use my body, and that I would be here for now. And I described the sun. And when I was young, I didn't know how to describe it. But as I began learning English and language and vocabulary, and by the time I hit the first grade and had opened my third eye, I had a clear grasp of language. I was already reading encyclopedias, so it was easier for me to describe my experience. And the words I chose then are the same words I would use now. And that is, to me, the sun was mechanical in nature. The sun was mechanical in nature. It's like it was masculine. He had a masculine voice, but his his speech pattern and the energy that was coming through it, he had no sympathy, no empathy at all. It was like talking to an AI machine. That's what the sun was like. And to me, that's what the sun is like in this age. We're between two ages. And the sun is like, it's just machine to me. So maybe the NPCs are just blank programs. There might not be a living soul or a life in them. They might just be a blank program. To me, in my understanding of alchemy / astrology, the sun is the primary source. Everything projected here must come through the sun, or the majority of it. You get a reflection of the projection from the moon, and you get these twinkle starlights off in the distance that tell the story. But the sun itself is the main projector here. It's how we get in and out of this place. He's the gate, and it's a gate that moves through gates, that moves through doorways. And when it's like a big hole in the sky, and as that hole moves, it starts projecting the energy behind it. And right now, it's projecting this weird Piscean, Aquarius mix, jumbled energies, and they're interfering with each other, and it's causing chaos. But as the sun moves on over into Aquarius in that eastern gate, the sun's going to change. And the sun's going to move through the water of life. The sun itself will get its own soul. I don't think it has one. I think it's just running a program. It had no sympathy for me. It felt like it was just doing a job. It wasn't happy. If anything, I felt despair. It's just like, how would you feel standing in a factory and you had to put it in the box, 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 every day, all day, for thousands of years. He's bored out of his freaking mind. He's tired of what's going down here. He don't even want to see it. So it's just, put the soul in the box, put the soul in the box, put the soul in the box. That's all he's doing. And it's, very mechanical, just doing a job. No sympathy, not interested, total disdain. That's the energy I got from the sun coming into this body. And it can't communicate with you. Straight up, I'm going to tell you. I was an infant. I didn't even know language. My body was toddling around when I came into it. I wasn't in no crib. I was sitting in my dad's lap when it happened, on a bus going down the highway when it happened. And I remember it very clearly, just like it happened just a second ago. But the sun is very mechanical, in my opinion. Very mechanical, or just completely burnout. It reminds me of a teacher that's been trying to teach for 50 years, and the classrooms keep getting worse and worse and worse, and the curriculum keeps getting worse and worse and worse, and they're just sitting there drawing a check. They don't even give a shit anymore. That's what it felt like to me, the energy. I almost felt sorry for it. But it is a him, at least, projecting the energy that we're in right now with the Kairos symbol. It is a negative, masculine energy coming from the sun. I felt no positive, no what I call positive, which is loving, kind, gentle, patient. Didn't feel any of that. None of that. So, NPCs, soulless beings, mechanical in nature, are we in a simulation? Very possible. I won't put that out. But what I will defend till my damn grave is that this is the story. This is the only thing that doesn't change. And it's the same through every culture, through every language, through every civilization, through every age, throughout recorded history, are the symbols of alchemy, which are the symbols of nature. And to me, that's nature speaking to us. we go make these symbols because it's what our subconscious Pluto and our conscious mind Neptune and our imagination Neptune and our conscious mind Uranus are experiencing. So let's jump right into part 2 of this video, which is what is ahead. Now, we all know the change date is 9/11 now. To move from Leo into Virgo is 9/11. Well, right after the sun moves into Virgo this year, currently we have Saturn and Jupiter retrograde. And this is a cute little story of how I see what's going on here. Because I don't do the nodes of the moon. That's a Vedic thing. I'm not working from the lunar pillar. I'm working from that middle pillar, but I do understand a lot of it. And from the lunar pillar and that Vedic view, they do the nodes of the moon. And the nodes of the moon, they spend almost 2 years in a sign. And for the past 2 crazy-ass years, Ketu and Rahu have been in Gemini and in Sagittarius, respectively. Ketu in Sagittarius, Rahu in Gemini. And they go this way through the zodiac. And now we're going to have Ketu moving into Scorpio and Rahu moving into Taurus on the fixed cross. But when you look at it from a celestial point of view, we have Saturn and Jupiter both in retrograde with Ketu right about here. And they're all going backwards. And it looks like Saturn and Jupiter are chasing Ketu until Ketu gets into Scorpio, and then they stop and turn around, and Jupiter stays in his own house and Saturn goes back to his house. And then Jupiter follows Saturn into his house. So it's really cute to watch how it appears that Saturn and Jupiter are chasing Ketu out of the mutable cross. And then you have Jupiter and Saturn sitting there, both retrograde. When Jupiter is retrograde, you tend to think outside of the box, especially in the house of philosophy and ideology. Everybody's thinking a little bit outside of the box. Even if just a little bit, some more than others. Now, Saturn retrograde is a whole different story. I call it the gloves are off. It's no holes barred. There is dirt being slung everywhere, especially on the political scene, on your TV screen. This is the real story here. This is the real projection, the real television, the real black box you should be looking at, not the lying one that's sitting in your living room. It lies, but this tells you the truth. Now, when Saturn's retrograde, I call it the gloves are off. Saturn is about restriction and about law, not the law of Aries, not the grace of Pisces, but there's one law. There's one law in nature, and it's the law of equivalent exchange. Nature, as we know it, the law that we understand here, it's called survival of the fittest. But man has overcome that. We overcame survival of the fittest. We have imagination that the rest of the animal kingdom does not have. We have the ability to create and invent, and they do not. We have a larger piece of the pie where Neptune, the imagination, is concerned. So, mid-month, Saturn's going to stop and go back forward toward his own house. And then no more gloves off. Everything. This is the noose tightening around the neck. And it's tightening on Jupiter's neck. And it's like Saturn's going to go into his own house of Capricorn and say, "Here, kitty, kitty, kitty." And Jupiter's going to follow him right in there. And it's almost like a setup, because Jupiter is debilitated in Capricorn. Right now, all of our governments around the world are under Jupiterian law in the age of Pisces. But for a short spell, we're going to get the authority of Saturn in here, who they have demonized to no end. And Saturn is very restrictive. Saturn's not going to play with Jupiter when he hear kitty kitty. Once that cat walks through the door, Saturn's going to slam that door shut behind it, and it's trapped. And then it comes under subjection. When we see the conjunction come up, let's go there. This conjunction. We get it starting on the 15th and going through the 28th. You get the perfect alignment on the 21st, which is the solstice. And you can see the sun sitting on that line between Sagittarius and Scorpio. This is the new equinox right in the Milky Way. The sun dies here and is born 3 days later. Boom, boom, boom. Right there. Dies for 3 days, and then it starts moving back the other way from the perspective of the Earth. It's fallen to its greatest point, its darkest, its longest night, long night, and short day. And then it begins to go back towards summer. It's the spring and the summer. Okay, another thing we've got going on, let's bring us back to now, is just about the time that Jupiter and Saturn are going to come out of retrograde. We're going to have Mars go into retrograde. Let's watch him. Let's get him going. He's paused on the 8th, 9th, and 10th, and now he's backing up. So right about the same time, right before Saturn goes forward again, Mars is going to go retrograde. So we're going to have a few days there, like between the 9th, the 8th or the 9th, up to about the 15th or 16th. It's going to be freaking crazy. We're going to be changing from Leo into Virgo. Saturn is going to stop going retrograde. Mars is going to go retrograde. And Mars retrograde on the mutable cross. This is Mars on the feminine axis of the mutable cross is already bipolar. It's already emotional instability. But when you throw a retrograde on top of that in Pisces, that's suicidal. That is suicidal. And we've seen that word flying around a lot since the last presidential election. A lot of suicides everywhere, all across the media and the corporate world and the political world, and even in our own neighborhoods. People give up hope. Myself, I don't have any hope. Not a drop. I don't have any faith. Not any. I don't need it. I'm in the know. When you know the truth, when you know what tomorrow is going to bring, you don't need hope. You don't need faith. You just don't. You've seen the movie. You know what the ending is. You don't have to sit in anticipation anymore. You can just enjoy the film. Probably pay attention, notice some things you didn't the first time you watched it. But no, you don't. We're moving out of faith. We're moving out of hope. But the majority of the people, when you tell them you're not going to have any hope, you're not going to have any faith, they fall to pieces. They think of doom and gloom. Oh, that's just the worst thing in the world. What do you mean no hope? Well, that's what you want. You want no hope. You don't want any faith, and you don't want hope. You want to know. Taurus, motto, I will. Aries, motto, I am. I call this William. I am. I William. This is the William Gates. These are the two William Gates. And then you have I will, I am, I believe. Pisces is I believe. But Aquarius is I know. They translate Capricorn to I do, but from the Bible it's clear. It's let there be. Not I do, but let there be. This is the creative feminine force of everything that was ever created. And God made the heavens, Aquarius, the fixed heavens, and the cardinal earth, and they were good. They became void and without form, and darkness was cast upon the face of the deep. And God said, let there be light. Voila, fire. That's a funny word here. We've talked about that before. In the Arabic, it is voila, and it means light, but it has an implication of fire behind it. It's like when somebody's smoking, asks for a light for their cigarette. They don't say got fire, they say you got a light, but they mean fire. They mean fire. So that's voila here. It's light, but it means fire. So, a lot going on this month. Mercury is exalted in Virgo. Money, money, money. Good going for Wall Street. They're going to do real good right here. They're going to have a little bump to the bump up on there. It won't be very volatile. If it is volatile and the market drops, the rich people are still going to make money. No matter what it does, whether it goes up or down, the rich people are going to make money. The rich people made a freaking killing off of this lockdown. They have, many of them, the top upper echelon, have almost doubled their fortunes. Some of them went from 10, 15 billion to like 40, 50 billion dollars. While we all sit at home. I'm not. I'm just doing what I do. My life hasn't changed much at all. I think I have been forced to put on a mask twice to walk in a door, and then once you got in, they didn't give a damn. You just had to do it. I guess the camera's at the door. You had to have the mask to get in the door, and then nobody said anything. But my life around here hasn't changed much at all. It's still the same as it ever was. And I like it that way. So there's a lot coming up. You got planets coming out of retrograde, planets going into retrograde, and everything is fixing to start. You're going to start seeing changes. If you feel like things have been stale and, oh, this is just the same old as yesterday, another mask, another CVS, here we go again. No, it's going to get much worse. This little waltz that Saturn and Jupiter are doing, this is an outright war. This is a war for the future. This is a war for minimum of the next 20 years. And myself, I've had enough of Jupiter ruling. I'm done with it. I'm done with his blind faith and his phony mercy and phony grace and his criminal justice. Because there is no damn justice for the victim in Jupiter's courts. There is no law of equivalent exchange. Everybody wants justice. You're not going to get that in this age. Only the criminals will get justice in this age. But we are moving into Aquarius. And there'll be no more nepotism. There'll be no more fraud. You will earn it. There'll be no more affirmative action. It's not going to matter what color you are, what race you are, what gender you are, what sexual orientation you are, what political affiliation you have. None of that's going to matter. It's going to matter, did you earn it? Did you do your homework? Did you follow the rules? If you plant good seed, you'll reap good food. If you plant bad seed, too bad. You did it to yourself. You'll become your own self-martyr. And you won't have anybody to blame but yourself, because that is the lesson of Aquarius, the self-martyr. You have to take responsibility for your actions and your brother's. You have to stand in the gap. Am I my brother's keeper? Yep, you are. The self-martyr. Nobody did this to you but you. No pointing fingers, no sob story, no excuses. The symbol for this age is an X. It's an excuse. It's an XQ. No more. We're done with that. We're done with that. And it's slowly being eliminated out. It's slow. People can't stand the church dying. If you knew what the church really was, you would have been out a long time ago. I've been trying to tell you, it's the ghost spell. That's where they seal you with the ghost spell, because they pull you to the pit and alter you. There is no need for a pastor between you and your pineal gland. That belongs to the thalamus right here. And the only way to get to the thalamus is through your heart. If you come in any other way, you have cheated, and you will not be rewarded. You will be dealt with harshly. Right now we have the moon entering into Pisces, and we're going to have this moon Mars conjunction right before a week before Mars. Well, in a couple of days, Mars is going to go stationary here on top. As soon as the moon passed, Mars is going to go stationary and then hit that retrograde. When a planet goes retrograde, it means it is at its closest point to the Earth. It's like we're on a racetrack at NASCAR, and the moon, Mars and the Earth are going along, and the Earth catches up to Mars, and it passed him, and it makes like Mars looks like it's going backwards. It makes it appear to be going backwards, when in truth it's just simply at its closest point to the Earth, and now it appears the Earth is moving faster around the track than Mars, which it does. And that's why we have that visual. And again, I don't care if this is under the dome, flat Earth, concave Earth. None of that makes any difference to me. What this place is completely freaking irrelevant. I don't care if there is a real God. I don't care if nature is real. I don't care if it's phony baloney. I don't care if it's a simulation. I don't care if it's flat, round, square, triangle, blue, green, red, purple. None of that is relevant. But what is relevant are our souls. What we're doing here, what we need to be doing, and how do we get out of here. I know how I got in here. I've been telling everybody that since the first grade. Oh, we come through the sun, and you go in through your right eye. At least I went through the right eye. It's very possibly some might be coming from the moon into the left eye. I don't know. I didn't experience that part. I can only tell you how it happened to me. And I'm sure many others. And I have many subs that are what we call walk-ins. I'm not sure if I'm the first soul in this body. It is very possible that the soul in this body didn't want it anymore and just checked out. And I am a replacement soul. That's just very possible. A replacement consciousness. Almost like schizophrenic, right? They'd tell you schizophrenic, you got an extra person in there, except for my extra person left. There's nobody here but me. I can access the memories of the body before I came into it, though. I can even access the DNA memory of the body. I used to think that's what people thought reincarnation was. Oh, you didn't reincarnate. You're just experiencing the DNA memory of the body that you're in. And that is very possible, too. I have not ruled that off the table. But what I have ruled off is any attempt that this is not the script. I see the script very clearly here. And I also see the script they're playing and how it's been altered and changed. And I see the rituals that they're doing in attempt to alter the script. And they scribbled the scriptures and gave us Bible, Bibble, Babble way back at Babylon. Let me show you how far Babylon is. Way back over here. This is how old the scribble is. We've been lied to about everything. Everything. You can't trust dates. You can't trust ages. Like I said, the stories of the Greek, they're all above the zodiac. It's like, and the stories coming up, we're just going down, follow the white rabbit and Leviathan, and then we get our wings way down here. It's like everything's being sucked down into a drain. We're in this water. Everything below the zodiac over here, all this is water. Water of life, water. and we're just being sucked down into a drain down here at what we would call the southern polar star, or Australius, hold on, I'll get the name, it's Australius Polaris. Australius Polaris, that's what it's called, because Polaris is our northern star, and then we have Australia Polaris, the southern star, the southern polar star. And it's like everything's being sucked down into it. Alright, let me see what else I want to give on my update. Let me stay in the now. Moon being benevolent on that solar pillar in, lunar pillar in water world. The dance really turns around. Going to be a big change when Jupiter, let's get Saturn's exact turnaround date. I think it's around maybe the 13th to the 18th. Going still, it's going to be before that. Right here on the 25th, we get a still for a few days there to where it's just solitude, and then moving forward. And Jupiter Jupiter's doing its still thing on the 15th. And turning around, doing it on the 10th and turn around on the 15th. So Jupiter will actually turn around. As soon as Jupiter turns around, K2 moves into Scorpio. Jupiter stops and turn around. Saturn stops and turn around. And then it looks like Jupiter is chasing Saturn. But to me, it's a setup. Saturn is tricking Jupiter. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Because Jupiter ain't going to like this go around. There have been several Saturn-Jupiter conjunctions in my lifetime, and every single time Jupiter ended up in control. Not this time. Not this time. Their little script and their little game and their little sideshow and false flags and emotional manipulations are done. And they're going to go into severe depression. This is connected directly to Sagittarius. This is the water that's needed to balance Sagittarius's fire. But Mars can't help. He's bipolar here, and then he's just going to get all depressed and go retrograde. And you will see suicides. People just ain't going to be able to handle it no more. What I see happening is a mistake I made early on in this game when I tried to wake people up. And that's what's going on. You have the media playing both sides, and then what's going on the internet and this truther community trying to freaking red pill everybody. And they're red pilling them straight into hell. And they don't even realize it. Straight into their own living, self-created hells. Because when you take somebody's storyline away from them, and you tell them that everything you've ever believed is a freaking lie, they crash and burn. If you do not have a storyline to replace it with, then you are in the nothing. It's like the never-ending story, and the nothing is coming, and it's eating everything up. You better come up with a new story. You better recreate something. You better get that Neptune into gear and start having at least an imagination. Even if what you give them is a lie. You need to... I don't want to give them hope. I don't want to give them faith. I don't want them to believe. I want them to know. I don't want to red pill anybody that I am not prepared to show them a different future. Now what's going on now is everybody's taking, both sides are taking away each other's future storyline. This one you can't take away. They can rewrite the script. They can hand the microphone off to the wrong generation. It don't matter. Universe don't care. Universe is still going to do what the universe is going to do. With or without us. Man can be long gone, and these stars will still be twinkling, telling the same stories. So, how about that moon? What's our date here? 9/9. Check out that moon. Want to talk about some serious Masonic magic right there. They do everything. Freemasonry does everything with the moon in Taurus. The Vatican does everything with the moon in Ophiuchus, trying to bring in that hero, that final marker. And they need to seal the deal with a ritual. I want to take a look at everything in the Arabic because the symbolism is more perfect here. The Western or the Greek is somewhat altered. And sometimes I get a different perspective just from the images. And they're just taying the wind here in the back of his scarf. Almost like Leo is shitting out the sun, Venus. Let me get my day back. I'm not on the right day. Day down here. There we go. Now we go. We got Mercury right on the tip of that left wing. It's like these are just flying out of his mind, and he's still shooting at K2 and the heart of the scorpion, or the heart of the eagle, really. It's not a scorpion. You know, the moon goes above and below, but I've done the video. It'll be on 11 Levet 11. It's the mansions of the moon. It's where the moon actually enters the mouth of the fish. Jonah, you stayed 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the whale, and then he spits you out in Nineveh. That's the whale, by the way. This is the whale, Jonah's whale. A lot of people want to say it's this one down here. No. This is Jonah's whale. Yeah, look at it in the Arabic. It's very clear. Even the names. Okay. Well, this is 45 minutes pushing. I'm going to stop it here because my computer's really slow right now. I'm on my laptop, and it takes a long time to process a video, and then a long time to upload the video. And I'm running just flash drive after flash drive in the background trying to transfer this information, these books, to these drives, and it's taking me right at an hour and 45 minutes to do one transfer. So and including sleep, I'm getting a maximum of 10 a day. That's all I can transfer. So hang on, you will get your flash drives. I keep saying no more flash drives, and every time I do that, 100 more will come through. So I made the video unlisted, so only my subs could see it. And then I kept getting more. So after every time I say no, I get flooded. No more, and I get flooded. So I have now had to make the last 2 videos private because I got to put a stop to it. I'm overwhelmed. I have enough flash drives. That's not the problem. The problem is moving the data. The problem is time. I'm on a time constraint, and I have things I need to do. So move data. I'm moving it as fast as I can, and everything should be done and without by the end of September. And then I'll unprivatize those videos, make them back public, and I'll let you guys know when I'm ready. But please, do not ask me for another flash drive, or I'll cry. I'll throw my hands up in the air, and I'll just pull out my hair, and I'll just freaking cry. Now, the last thing I want to say before closing this out are about the NPCs. I don't think we can red pill them. I think they are like the Crazy 88. They've got on the masks. They're blindfolded. They only take orders. They do what they're told, and they'll fight to the death. So don't even bother with them. You're just wasting your breath and your time. And this includes members of your family. You can be born the only one awake in your whole family. Every freaking one of them could be NPCs. You don't know. But I do know that when you start waking people up and you don't have something to you're going to take their whole belief system away from them, and you have nothing to give them in return. It's, this is all about philosophy and ideology. And when I talk about Sagittarius, philosophy and ideology, I talk about the Greek thinkers, and I talk about the modern day thinkers, and I talk about the ancient shamanistic thinkers, the tribal thinkers. But I tell the story of Santa Claus, because that's what it's like. We grow up being told about Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, and the Easter Bunny. Then we start school. And some kids got to break it to us. Santa's not real. Well, that's a paradigm shift. What do you mean Santa's not real? You're lying. And then we find out they're telling the truth. So now, why did my parents lie to me? Well, what is the truth? Well, who is Santa? And you suddenly, you start asking questions that you've never asked before. You just took it for granted that your parents were telling you the truth about what this place is and what we're doing. So now, your trust and your authority has moved from the family unit into the institution of the school. We have science. We'll tell you the truth. This is scientific. If people really knew where science came from, the words seance and science are the same for a damn reason, because that's where science comes from. That is a seance. You channel these energies, and we get this information from other, I wouldn't even call it otherworldly, other realms, otherworldly, other constellation worldly, world ages. We get this information through the different dimensions and frequencies, from alternate realities even. But there's science for you. It's as spirit, it comes from as spiritual as you can get. But they don't want you to know that. They'll never tell you that. They'll let you believe in aliens. They'll let you believe in outer space. And, I'm going to take a minute to do this. I'm just going to bump this video on up to an hour and do this, because Trump is moving us back into the space age. Obama came in, cut NASA. Everything started going towards the gay community. And the first damn thing that happened when Obama came in, well, one, he told us he'd have the most transparent administration. We simply didn't understand that was two words, not one. So when our transparent came in, everything, they killed NASA, and they bought out the Sci-Fi Channel and killed all the science fiction shows. They killed Star Trek. They killed Star Wars, because they don't want you in the space age. They want you stuck on flat Earth with no hope. They want you desperate that only they have the answers for today and tomorrow, because you were lied to in the past. It's the same thing as the Santa Claus story. You're taking away their paradigm with nothing else to offer. It's not like going to school where the school is ready to grab you and give you science. That's not happening here. You're just taking their world away, red pilling the shit out of them, and then boom, they crash and burn. That has to stop. You are harming these souls, because in alchemy, in their natal charts, they will wake up exactly when they're supposed to. Trust me, the universe don't need any help from us. You need to be worrying about you, not the other guy. All you're doing is helping out the enemy when you get these people to crash and burn, because you don't have a story to replace it with. But the enemy does, and they're going to be there and scoop them up and rewash that brain that you just they're going to reprogram what you just unprogrammed with another lie on top of another lie on top of another lie. We've all been double-crossed. The best things we can do for ourselves right now in this timeline is to figure out which cross we're on, get rid of the fake cross we've been given, and move forward with our own lives. Me, I've done figured mine out. So I'm here to take as many as I can with me. But I don't want to rip your world down without giving you a better world. When I take this phony lie of a cross they've given you, I'm prepared to give you the real one. And if you are red pilling people, you better be prepared to do that too. Because yes, you are your brother's keeper. And yes, you will reap what you sow. What are you going to say when they say, well, here's 15,000 people over here you red pilled, and 6,000 of them committed suicide. You're going to have to pay for that? We're going to have to back charge your credit card here? Are you prepared for that? Are you really ready to suffer the consequences of what you have done and are doing? Make sure, if you're red pilling people, that you have the storyline to replace the one you're taking. Don't leave them laying there, burning to death in their own misery, in their own darkness, in their own nothingness. You better learn to get on your luck dragon and start rebuilding the never-ending story. Because that's all we got here, is the story. Without a storyline, there's no past, there's no present, and there's no future.